Today we are having Keyshawn Thomas from University of Georgia Extension presenting on avoid portion distortions. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Keyshawn. I'm going to make sure you are recording. Perfect.
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for some of you all. It is 2 o'clock here in Georgia, right after the lunch hour. So we're here today to talk about portion distortion. First of all, I'd like to give our colleagues, send thoughts and prayers to our colleagues that have been devastated by the storm. The hurricane that happened the other day, we still have people in Georgia and many other states that are still trying to get the necessities of life. So our thoughts and prayers are with our colleagues. In that vein, we're going to start. Let's launch a poll. Is this your first time participating in an extension class, workshop, activity, or event? And my trusty assistant, Miss Elizabeth Renfro, has launched the poll for us. We have about 61% of you that have participated. And 77, we need a couple more people to finish with the poll. We're almost there, 88%, 100%. So we have a few people that have not, this is your first time attending an extension class, workshop, activity, or event. So Elizabeth, you can stop the poll for us. The results are 78% of you are first timers, so welcome. And 59%, this is your first time participating in Get the Dish. So welcome. And to you that are returning, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about portion distortion. And we're doing some things while we're eating that are that is causing us to kind of go over our portions. So our objectives for today are we're going to talk about recommended serving size, tips for portion control. We're going to talk a little bit about MyPlate and also reading nutrition facts label. So since we mentioned the nutrition facts label, Elizabeth, would you launch my first question? So, how many of us read the following service suggestions for our favorite snacks? Now, we all have our favorite snack, that thing that we just is our go-to snack. And our poll numbers are coming in. We're at 44%, 55%, and a lot of you read them frequently. So that is great. Right now, we have 46% of respondents that are saying that they read the nutrition serving size frequently. We have 20% that is sometimes, I would be in that 20%. And we have 33% that are rarely. And sometimes it's just get it and go. This is my comfort snack, and this is where I am going. This is what I need. Okay. So that about 15 people answered the question. But now we're going to move into the education piece of our program. As soon as I can find my PowerPoint here. Okay. So what we're finding, research has indicated that our portions can influence intake as much as taste. If it's good to us, we're going to do what? We're going to continue to just eat. Large packages and containers can lead to overeating. Now, some of you may say, Keyshawn, I am astute and I am vigilant about these large packages. I can control my portions. I just want to put something out there to you, and if this is you, you just give me a little nod behind your screen. But I know when I am binging, it's a rainy Saturday afternoon, I'm binge watching my show, and I have my large bag of tortilla chips, which we will leave nameless for the major brand, but I can eat an entire family size bag. If I'm watching those shows and I have a drink and my remote control is there, I am binging and I am eating more than the recommended serving size. So what's the difference between portion size versus serving size? Portion Por- Somebody said I actually read the label and eat the whole package. That would be me. I read the label and also eat the whole package. So portion size is the amount of single food items served in a single eating occasion, such as a meal or snack. Many people confuse portion size with serving size, which is a standard unit of measurement of foods. For example, a cup of milk or an ounce of cheese, those are used for dietary guidance, such as guidelines for our dietary guidelines for Americans. The portion size is what we control. The serving size is the standard unit of measurement, a cup, an ounce, a pint. But the portion size is where we kind of see where we kind of get into a little trouble. As portions sizes have gotten larger over the years, so have we as Americans. We've gotten a lot larger because our portion sizes have gotten larger. And later on in the presentation, you'll see just what that difference is and how it stacks up when you're trying to meet your health goals. So, does portion size matter? Why are we even talking about this today, Get the Dish team? Because the basic rule of weight management is that people gain weight when they eat more calories when they expend. Large portion sizes do not matter if a person chooses to eat only appropriate serving sizes rather than the whole portion served. So that means when you first get that plate at the restaurant, you're cutting that portion in half. You're not eating the entire large fries or drinking the entire large frappe, which is my weakness, obviously. Or if a person eats fewer calories in the subsequent meals and snacks to control overall calorie intake. So it's all about the calories we consume as well as the calories that we expend. People gain weight when they eat more calories than they use in daily activities. Large portions do not matter if a person uses to eat only the appropriate portion size, and you are also what, physically active. So how do we assess how much is appropriate serving size? Do we actually eat only the appropriate serving size when more is offered? Very good question. Do we adjust what we eat at subsequent meals after consuming large portions? So I've eaten that. I've just gone crazy at lunchtime because I was working. I didn't eat lunch till 3 o'clock, which is probably what will happen today. And I eat a huge lunch. So do I adjust my dinner and my late evening snack to appropriate for that large meal that I ate during lunchtime? Research shows that people often eat the amount of food in front of them. People have difficulty assessing appropriate amounts. And when we get into some of the demonstration a little later, you'll see just how small those amounts are. Research shows that people often eat what is in front of them, and in addition, they have trouble assessing whether or not what is in front of them is the appropriate amount. So, how do we accurately assess portion size? Few food cues may override physiologic satiety cues, including large portions, easy access, sensory attractiveness of food. So, if, for instance, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving and it's fair time here in Georgia, so I don't care what, if I've eaten a large meal, if I smell funnel cakes are cooking, guess what's going to happen? I automatically want a funnel cake. Do I eat the entire thing? You betcha. I don't want to share it with anyone. Other few food cues also cause us to eat more than we need to, such as a restaurant setting. You're sitting with your friends, you're laughing and talking and drinking and eating. Celebrations. We use food for everything here in Georgia. If we're sad, if we're happy, if there's an accomplishment, if it's Friday, if it's Taco Tuesday, we want to use food to celebrate. Alcohol consumption also causes us to eat larger portion sizes, and also comfort foods. If it's my mother-in-law's peach pie, her peach cobbler, you rest assured that I am going to eat more than I normally would because I don't have it that often, and it's a comfort food for me. Even though there's information available about appropriate serving sizes, people do not generally correctly assess the amount that they are eating. Often people are unable to tell the difference in portions when they're offered different sizes on different days. There was a research study that concluded that the characteristics of people, gender, age, body, weight, level of education, cause differences in the way we estimate portion size, and error in estimating those portion size becomes greater, the margin of error, as those portion sizes increase. So the nutrition facts label is one way for us to tell the serving size. I'm not sure what this item is, but there are 8 servings in this container. The serving size is 2/3 cup. So let's say, for instance, it was pecans. That's a lot for pecans, but 2/3 cup. So if I eat the entire package, I have to take that 2/3 cup. So say, for instance, if I was checking for sodium, 160 milligrams of sodium. If I eat the entire package, I have to multiply that 160 milligrams times 8, and that's how much sodium I will have consumed eating this entire package. So think about our college students that eat the entire Kraft macaroni and cheese box, for instance. There are 2 servings in that box. So if they eat the entire thing, they have eaten a lot more than they intended to. And this becomes really critical when you are suffering or you're living with one of the chronic diseases. Say, for instance, if you have high blood pressure or you have cholesterol or you have diabetes. Those when these things become really important to us, like the carb load, for instance, that would be really important to me if I had diabetes. So the nutrition facts label will help us to easily identify the number of portions, the number of servings, and the portion sizes in our food. Be sure to pay attention to the serving size per container as well as the serving size. So make sure it's per container in your individual serving size. I'm going to ask Elizabeth to launch our second poll. So, how many pounds a year are gained annually from extra calories? So, we've talked about that we need to make sure that we watch the caloric intake as well as what we expend on calories, basically our physical activity. So, a rough estimate 25, 10, 15 pounds per year annually from extra calories. So, we have about 54% participated. And the initial numbers show that 38% believe that we gain about 10 pounds per year annually from extra calories. About 31% believe that we gain 15, and about 8% say about 20, and 23% say about 5. So our results say that about 38% of you all believe that is 10 pounds. So according to research, about 10 pounds extra per year. So the group that said 10 pounds extra per year, if we just do 100 extra calories per day. Now, I don't know about you all, but my favorite drink, cheap drink is Pepsi. And I know I can probably rack up 100 calories between Pepsi and some cash. Knowing one's daily calorie needs from a calorie table based on age, gender, height, weight, and level of physical activity, there it is again, physical activity, may be a useful reference point in determining the calories a person eats and drinks. Also, if you have a chronic disease, for instance, if you have high blood pressure, we know that your calories should be around 1,200 as opposed to 2,100 per day. So it doesn't take many extra calories a day to add 10 pounds a year. The good news is by reducing daily calorie intake by 100 calories, you can also lose 10 pounds per year. So we talked about that our serving sizes are getting larger. So guess the difference. This smaller bagel that we probably would have had about 10 to 15 years ago is roughly about 140 calories. This larger bagel that we're making now, what I like to call the behemoth bagels, are about 350 calories. There's 210 calories in just that item. So if you add, say for instance, smoked salmon, cream cheese smear, all of those things, then you are also increasing the calories. But that's your 100 calories right there in just one item. So how long would it take us to work that off? We've talked a little bit about expending those calories that we take in. So how long would it take us to work that off? If we ate that bagel, it would take us about 50 minutes worth of raking leaves. Now, when I say 50 minutes, I mean 50 minutes continuously, not the breaks. I want to check my phone. I want to get water. Let me go check on the baby. This is 50 minutes of raking leaves. And I don't know about you all, but I rake leaves every year, and every year I'm reminded of muscles that I didn't know I had. So guess the difference in this pasta dish. About 500 calories under the old system, our new inflated system, where we get larger portions even in restaurants, it's about 1,000 calories. So that's 525 more calories in just that one dish. How long would it take us to burn it off? It would take us about 2 hours and 35 minutes to burn off an additional 525 more calories. And again, that 2 hours and 35 minutes, it is not sitting on the couch surfing, getting unfocused. I know none of you do that, but I do that quite frequently. So, guess the difference in this burger: 333 calories versus 590 calories, roughly 257 extra calories, and it would take about an hour and 30 minutes of lifting weights to burn those 257 more calories. Now, I don't want to just pick on the food items, anything that we consume, and most notably our drinks. How many of us have to have coffee in the morning? Our coffee intake has also increased, the serving size has also increased. 45 calories versus 350 calories. So that's 305 more calories. How long would it take us to burn it off? It would take about an hour and 20 minutes of walking. And that is, again, nonstop walking where we are just walking. And that is that physical activity, making sure you expend the calories that you are consuming. So, Keyshawn, how do I get these under control? One of the things is to follow MyPlate. MyPlate is recommended by USDA. If you're not familiar with it, MyPlate is like the icon that you see on the screen. A fourth of our plate should be lean protein, for instance. And the rule of thumb is that that protein should fit in the palm of your hand, not stacking it up like a 20-piece hot wing, but that lean protein should fit in the palm of your hand. If you're a man, it should fit in the palm of a woman's hand. Uh, Fourth of our plate should be whole grains, and that is whole grains. Anything that has whole wheat or whole grain as the first ingredient on the nutrition label. A fourth of our plate, half of our plate should be fruits and vegetables. You can divide them either way, but half fruit, half vegetables is ideal. And then we should also have a serving of dairy. And this is a recommended guideline by USDA to kind of keep our health goals in place, as well as to make sure that we don't blow our caloric intake. Now, what happens is in this my plate, what generally happens is we want to take the proteins and make that half of the plate, and we want to make the fruits and vegetables probably together a fourth of the plate. And most Americans do not get enough whole grains in their diet to begin with. So keep that in mind. And my plate has a wonderful website, and it's a great way to keep up with how much we should be eating and recommended serving size. So, how does my plate translate to our day to day needs? It is important not to deprive ourselves of our favorite foods. Sometimes when we do this, we end up gorging on these foods later on. Include your favorite foods by incorporating them into an overall balanced eating pattern. Try to use my plate as a guide, but include the pasta and meatballs just in smaller portions. And then add a salad, for instance, to get your vegetables. So we see just this entire plate of pasta along with our meat and sauce is 1,337 calories versus a smaller portion with one meatball, a little pasta, and including a salad will take us down to 300 calories. And again, this is not the only meal that we will eat. Now, where do we get into trouble? Sometimes when our food is fixed for us, when we're out at a restaurant or fast food or something like that, it's a little easier to manage our portions. But managing our portions at home can also be one of the pitfalls to stop our health goals. So, to reduce the temptation of overeating at home, we encourage you to use the following tips: serve reasonable portions on individual plates. Avoid putting serving dishes on the table. We like family style, however, that lends itself to us overeating. And keeping excess food out of reach can prevent inadvertent overeating. Don't pick at leftovers. Wasting food is not ideal. We are in a society where food costs so much and nobody wants to throw money in the trash. But neither is eating everyone's leftovers or eating once you're full. How many moms will eat the rest of the remaining food off of the kids' plate? They didn't happen to like the zucchini spaghetti, but we want to eat the rest of it. We are blowing our portion sizes by eating those extra portions from the kids, for instance. Be selective with our seconds, double up or even triple up on the fruits and vegetables. That will help us to get full faster and also help us to prevent going back for seconds and sometimes even thirds. And also save a little room for dessert. Sometimes is the moment my stomach sends the signal to my brain that I'm full, I try to stop. Another way to manage our portions while watching television, because this seems to be, or surfing on the computer or on social media. Sometimes we get all of our stuff, our remote control, our drink, our readers, as well as our snack and our drink. So, reading while we're eating in front of the TV, put a reasonable amount of the food into a bowl or container. So, that large package of Doritos that I mentioned earlier. Oops, I said the name. That large package is ideal if you take a smaller portion out, put it in a smaller bowl or plate, and then take that to sit and watch television or surf the computer. It's very tempting if that bag is sitting right next to you and you're good and comfy and you have your TV blanket. But if you leave it in the kitchen, the research suggests that walking back to the kitchen several different times to get more of that snack will trigger something in your brain and make you stop and say, okay, wait, I'm eating too much. Also, sometimes while you're multitasking, while you're doing something, for instance, working or watching television, we're just not keeping track of how much we're actually eating. Had anybody ever started eating and then get to the end of the bag and like, who ate all of that? Surely not I. Just me? Okay. So managing large restaurant portions, one way is to cut that serving that portion in half. Many restaurants serve more food than is appropriate for one person. So splitting an entree with a friend, asking the waiter to put half of the meal in a carryout container before it's even brought to the table, or as soon as it's brought to the table, ask for a to-go box. Um, and make sure you take it home and you refrigerate it within 2 hours. Those are some ways to control those restaurant portions. And always, always opt for the salad for your side. So we want to make sure along the way while we're watching our portions that we limit certain things. Notice I didn't say restrict, but we do want to limit certain things like saturated fats, trans fats, added sugar, and sodium. So saturated fat, according to the American Heart Association, saturated fats are the fats that are associated with animal products such as butter, cheese, red meat, and other animal based foods. In addition, many baked goods and fried foods can contain high levels of saturated fats. Less than 10% of your daily calories should come from saturated fats. So we want you to switch to unsaturated fats like olive oil, canola oil, and avocado oil. Those are healthier oils for us. Trans fat, most commonly from partially hydrogenated oils that are used to increase the shelf life of foods and improve texture or taste. So, generally, they are found in baked goods, commercial baked goods, shortenings, and other processed foods. And we always want to limit our processed foods. Also, added sugars. We want to make sure we limit our added sugars. So, we want to get about 10% of our total calories for the day from added sugars. So added sugars are the sugars that are not naturally found in food and is added to sweeten them or for texture. Limit these sugars by reading the added sugar section on the nutrition label to choose foods and choosing fewer processed foods. So fruit has naturally occurring fruit sugar. So that is fine. But when you start to talk about Twix and Hershey's and all of those things and our donuts, all of those things have added sugar. So the natural sugars in fruits and some vegetables and dairy foods are just healthier choices all around with lots of vitamins and minerals as well. Added to sweeten or texturized foods naturally occur in fruits and vegetables, and dairy are healthier choices for us. Sodium. We want to limit our sodium to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. Also, if you have high blood pressure, then you want to that is reduced to about 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day. Eating at home more will also help us to limit some of these saturated fat, trans fat, added sugar, and sodium. Cooking our own meals because we can control the sodium levels. We can use other no salt seasonings and incorporating different herbs and spices into our meals as well will help us to reduce that sodium. So we want to load up on fruits and vegetables. Eat before you get too hungry. I don't know about anybody else, but when I get hangry, I just feel like I should just eat and eat and eat. Don't eat from a large bag or box directly. Buy a smaller serving of your favorite snack. I cannot buy a family size, regular size bag of container of Oreos. I will go through the whole thing, me and my family. So I have to buy the little one person serving size of Oreos just to make sure that we are controlling our portions. Include snacks, eat at the same time. Have a plan and don't skip meals. A lot of people skip breakfast and by lunchtime they are famished. Cornell University indicated people eat up to 50% more when they have no visual cues for portion size. It's uh-oh, I ate all of that. This is specifically true when we are doing something else while we're eating. Remember that watching TV or working on a computer. Mini sodas, small bags of chips or nuts, for example. Even my favorite, which is popcorn. I try not to eat the entire microwavable bag of popcorn unless I get the 3 ounce bag. So practice mindfulness, eating, and eating without distraction can help us. Listen to your body. Drink water, chew slowly, limit yourself, reduce your plate size. Oops. Okay, so reduce your plate size. Drink water, reduce your plate size, and above all, stop when your stomach sends the signal to your brain that you are full. So, portion control prevents weight gain, follow serving size recommendations, limit saturated trans fat and added sugar and sodium, and read nutrition facts label. So, in conclusion, those are the things that we would like for you to do. But we would like for you to join us on another camera. And I'm going to ask my assistant because we want to show you these in real time. So everybody brought their favorite snack or drink. And I don't know about you, but I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. This is my lovely water bottle. I'll give you a little secret. Sometimes it's not always water in there. I'm a Georgia girl by way of marriage, so I love my sweet tea. So sometimes when I'm really, really, really being bad, I will fill it up with sweet tea. And I know that is way above what the serving size should be for sweet tea. So on this camera here, where Miss Charlene has a nice tray for us. And I don't know if you can see it well, but we have a nice salad. We have a nice salad as well as Oreos and Sprite. So for that salad, Miss Charlene has pushed the salad dressing. And would you hold it up just a little bit, Miss Charlene, so we can see roughly if you go tilt it to the side a little so we can see? Yeah. It's about a 2 ounce serving cup. So about a 2 ounce serving cup, generally that's about 2 to 4 ounces is about how much they'll give you in an individual dressing, salad dressing size. And also for Oreos, we have about one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 Oreos. I eat about 3 or 4 Oreos while I'm thinking about, do I want to have Oreos, honestly? And who wants Oreos without the milk? And also, we have a nice, it's not a red solo cup, but it is a solo cup, and that's about 16 ounces of a soft drink, of a soda there. So we have, I think we have two more. We have chips as well as nuts. So keep those in mind. Those are what we typically would grab. So we also have chips as well as salsa. And if you'll take the top off the nuts for me. So sometimes we want to be a little more health conscious and we're going to have nuts instead of my absolute fave, which is chips. Okay. So, so those are the serving sizes that people typically will, per portion size that people typically will eat. So I want to throw a question out to the audience. What is the serving size for salad dressing? So the serving size for salad dressing is, and Miss Elizabeth, do we have any questions? I think I see a hand raised on one screen.
There are no questions coming into the chat.
Okay, great. Okay, moving right along. So, Miss Charlene, if you would move those tortilla chips closer to the camera for me. Just raise them up a little bit for me. There you go. So this is the recommended serving size for just regular Tostito scoops. The serving size, recommended serving size, thank you, Charlene, is 11 chips. Now, that does not include any salsa, any queso, any protein that we may add, any guac, any of those things. So the recommended serving size is 11 chips. Yes, the tortilla chip serving size is a lot smaller than what you thought or what you eat. Very good. So, would you hold up the salad dressings for me, Miss Charlene? The recommended serving size for a salad dressing is 2 tablespoons. That's it. For that nice salad that we had prepared on that first tray, 2 tablespoons. Now, I don't know about you all, but when I go and I order a salad, I'm an extra dressing girl. And certain people in my family who shall remain nameless are a swimming in dressing type people. So just so you have an idea of what you're actually consuming, I hear a lot of people will say, "Oh, I've only been eating salads." Well, if you put a half a cup of dressing or 4 ounces of dressing, you have gone too far. That is 2 tablespoons of dressing. That's the recommended serving size. And if you flip over the bottle and look at the back, you will see that the recommended serving size is 2 tablespoons of dressing. And on most dressings, that's the recommended serving size. So keep that in mind. Okay, nuts. They're healthy, right? A healthy fat, right? The recommended serving size for nuts is 1/4 cup. I recommend the size that we showed you on the first tray. That was about 2/3 cup. So that was way more than we should consume. Now, I don't know about you all. Thank you, Charlene. But that little can of cashews that Charlene has there on the tray, my husband will take that out in a good football game. From first quarter to fourth quarter, he will take out the entire can. That is a lot more than a fourth cup of nuts. And also for our soda. Charlene, would you raise that cup up a little bit for me? That is roughly not a 9 ounce cup, A recommended serving size for a drink, a soda, is 8 ounces. Thank you, Charlene. So even that cup is too large. So our solo cup that we mentioned, that is 16 to 20 ounces, or my fave, my little water bottle that I sometimes cheat and put my favorite drink in, is way too much. Anything over that 8 ounces, you are consuming double, sometimes triple the amount of calories and also sugar and all of those things. Now, thank you, Tina. I cracked myself up as well. For the Oreos, now this one, the recommended serving size for Oreos, the major reveal is 3 Oreos. Now, I don't know about you all, but I eat 3 Oreos, but I'm deciding if I want to eat Oreos. So 3 Oreos is the recommended serving size. How many of us can eat just 3 Oreos and leave them alone? Not me. I am not in that group. But also, one of the things that I talked about in the presentation was to get a smaller snack size. So get the smaller version. This is the Oreos that you usually find sometimes at the convenience store. Sometimes they'll come in a 12 multi-pack, and there are 6 Oreos in there. Guess what? The recommended serving size for that is 6 Oreos. There was a discrepancy that we found on the regular package. It is 3 Oreos, but for this one in particular, it is 6 Oreos if you get that individual one. So even though the nutrition label gives us information, sometimes we have to make a best real-time judgment call for what we are trying to do, as far as our health goes. I was flabbergasted to learn that the serving size was 6 Oreos, and sometimes I will restrain myself and just eat 3 because I know 3 is what the true recommended serving size should be. So someone wants to really try the new Oreos, the Coke and Oreos in one. That should be interesting, and I would encourage you to look at the nutrition information for that. Coke and Oreos, that sounds like a lot. And also, don't forget, if you add anything to it, like we have the cookies and the milk, all of those things are counted toward your daily caloric intake. So just something to brighten up your day and to give you a little information about serving sizes and portion controls. And where you really find ourselves in trouble at is the things that we really like. Those comfort foods, snacks, and if we miss meals and we tend to overeat, and those larger packaging, those things really can kill off our health goals for our health goals, and also can cause us to consume way more food than we intended. So are there any questions in the chat or any comments? Any feedback anybody would like to share with us? Okay, well, we hope that you have learned something. We do have a poll that we would like for you got a poll or two that we would like for you guys to complete at the end of this session, and we are at the end. So, after today, do you plan to attend future extension classes or presentations? Oh, yes, we have people there saying yes. So that always makes my heart feel good. And we will have other sessions that will be coming up. On October 8th, we will be talking about Dutch oven cooking.
With that, Keyshawn, I'm sitting here listening, and I did bring my snacks. My naughty snacks are a trail mix that have nuts. You did talk about, having some cashew. And
What's
with
the
that,
serving size for that trail mix, Serene?
so the serving size is 1.25 ounces. So it is in a snack package, which when I went to the store, I purposely bought it in the individual snack package because I get this snack mix, the trail mix for my kids. And
Okay.
pretty soon you talked about parents eating those leftovers, and pretty soon I'm grabbing handfuls. But
That's it.
you're
What about
opening
your
my eyes.
drink? What about
My
your drink?
drink of choice is water or lots of coffee, but I don't add that sugar. But
Okay.
too much
Okay.
caffeine, I'll tell you that much for sure. But I always think, oh, if I stay away from that sweet treat, but my other naughty snack has a lot of sodium, right? So you've talked about the added sugars, but that sodium too, not just the sugar. And I know you talked about that, but it's a
Yeah.
good
Also,
reminder. Sometimes we're like,
if we look at the nutrition label, sometimes we will be astounded. One of the things, for instance, I love, 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 absolutely love Mexican food. And I'm telling you, I'm down in a basket of chips before my entree comes out. And it wasn't until I started doing more research that I thought, you are really getting beside yourself. And when you look at, like, for instance, for the Tostitos, that was 11 chips. Sometimes the serving size is smaller, it's just 6 chips is the serving size. So eating a basket or two or three, or eating 3 or 4 breadsticks before the entree comes, that can really, really, really torpedo our health goals. So I think that we have a few comments. Will there be a recording of the Dutch oven cooking? I will not be able to make it. Yes, there will be a recording. If you would please register so that we can send the recording back out, correct, Serene? For the
sorry,
Dutch oven cooking?
Dutch oven cooking, there it will be recorded. So every single week. So just as Keyshawn is presenting right now, this is being recorded. It will then be uploaded and available via YouTube within a week of the presentation. We try to get it by the end of that week.
Okay. The
And
next
then I
one,
know,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Keyshawn, I know in the chat people are wondering about the survey link. So the survey link that Elizabeth posted is the correct survey link. The password is just dish. And with that, when you get into that survey, you would just select today's lesson, which is avoid portion distortion.
Okay. And
So
someone said, thanks for sharing your own limitations. Makes me feel like a normal person and gives me hope I can improve. Most definitely. And one of the things I would like to impress upon people that have attended, oftentimes, I know in my household, I'm the primary preparer of food because I'm the mom. So I control kind of what my family eats to a certain extent. I cannot get them to eat certain foods that they don't like, but that's another story for another day. But I control that. So I can control the snacks, I can control the packaging for snacks, and sometimes I do monitor. I have a teenage boy in my household, and it's nothing for him to eat an entire bag of chips. But I have, I've learned to monitor from my 2 older kids and say, hey, that's enough. We're having dinner in 2 hours. You'll be okay. Get an apple, get an orange. So let's make sure that we impress this and share this with our family members as well. And when we're out grocery shopping, let's think about those things and these serving sizes. Sometimes the snack size is best for convenience and also for controlling portions for us. Make sure to complete the survey. We want to see how we're doing. We're always looking to improve, or they may kick me off next time. But we would love for you to complete the survey for us to see can we improve or have different topics for you.
with that survey, if you complete the survey, it is anonymous, but you are entered into a raffle, and we will be announcing 2 raffle winners next week because as I shared, we have last week's recording. We'll be getting that going out today. There'll be a chance if you did not have the opportunity to participate last week that you could watch that recording and participate in that survey and be entered into the raffle. So next week we'll be announcing a winner of week 1, which was sausage making, and the winner for week 2, which is Keyshawn Thomas's avoid portion distortion. So we hope you complete those surveys if you're so inclined, and then we'll be announcing those winners at the top of week 3 before we jump into Dutch oven cooking.
All right, and put that ice cream tonight in a smaller dish when you have it for dessert, okay?
Well, thank you so much, Keyshawn. Thank you so much for reminding me to be mindful, especially as I'm going to be headed into lunch. I know we talked a lot about snacks today, but such a great reminder for our meals as well. So I'm definitely going to be a little more aware as I'm snacking away and making sure I'm mindful.
It is as much for participants as it is for me. Trust. Thank
Well,
you so
thank
much,
you.
Elizabeth, for all of your help. And I would like to thank the two assistants in my office who helped me with the camera as well as the trays, Valencia Gamble and Charlene May. Thank you so much for helping me.
Well, thank you all. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.